After a year when we weathered all kinds of storms, a record hurricane season during a global pandemic, it all reminds us how important it is to be prepared for anything this hurricane season brings.
From your supply kit to generators to keep your home powered, knowing what your insurance covers and when you need to evacuate. We are standing for Houston and arming you with the tools and knowledge.
It's Hurricane 101, preparing for the storm. Hello, I'm Len Cannon.
And I'm Mia Gradney. At this point in the summer, we are all well into hurricane season. And we want to help you prepare for any potential storms that may head our way.
We know here in Houston, it only takes one. No doubt about that. And we've seen firsthand, it doesn't matter if it's a tropical depression or a Category 4 hurricane. You need to have a game plan to keep you and your family safe. So how prepared is Harris County?
Shern-min Chow gets answers from top county leaders.
We are no strangers to the worst Mother Nature can dole out. Then came COVID. That changed evacuation shelters from group settings like a convention center to congregate housing.
Maybe it's hotel rooms. It's easier to put family units together, keep them isolated and segregated from a large gathering.
Meantime, rescue equipment and vehicles have been tuned up. Hundreds of fire department and law enforcement trucks are available. The county also working on changing the landscape literally. After Harvey, Harris County voters approved a $2.5 billion bond package in 2018 for flood mitigation.
There's been over 180 projects started across the entire county.
Those are on the Harris County Flood Control District's website. You can enter your address to see what's near you or scan the map. But all this does not include the notorious Barker and Addicks reservoirs. They were at risk of collapse during Harvey, so water was released. Memorial neighborhoods dry during Harvey were now deliberately flooded, and the West Belt underwater for a week.
The potential work along Buffalo Bayou and into Addicks and Barker is still in that study phase.
Really? Okay, even 3-4 years out after Harvey?
Yep.
Complicating things, an expected $1.5 billion in matching federal funds that originally did not come through.
The federal funds that were expected, but were never committed to in writing, were supposed to support particularly the lower income areas of town.
The county is fighting to get that money and recently got $1.25 billion allocated. County Judge Lina Hidalgo makes this promise.
Every project that was promised will be done and will be done on schedule.
Meanwhile, experts say do what you can. Buy flood insurance, assemble a hurricane kit, and have a plan.
The vast majority of people in Harris County are not in an evacuation zone, so you should make sure your plan involves sheltering in place.
Because Mother Nature can show no mercy. How many of you had your home flooded? Raise your hand. I think that says a whole lot.
When the first tropical storm watch or warning is issued, it's time to shift your disaster plan into high gear. But there are plenty of things you can do to be prepared before we ever see a storm on the horizon. Jackie Drake with the American Red Cross says now is the time for you to be thinking about your readiness. You want to be ready before you ever see something like this brewing in the Gulf.
From my experience, whenever people come to a shelter, it's usually they weren't expecting that they were going to have to leave home. They didn't prepare. So making a list ahead of time is always so important. Now, it may not be something that we're thinking about every day, but as you live along the coast, you know that we are disaster prone, and it's always a good idea to just be prepared.
Whether you live on the island or along a bayou in the heart of Houston, everyone needs a plan.
And I tell you, just from experience, from dealing with so many people who've been through storms and hurricanes and different things like that, when you are prepared, it makes such a big difference afterward.
Now that you have your plan, I would take your list and actually print it. So that way you can check each box off and make sure you have every item like this. So you have a gallon of water, extra trash bags, paper and extra pens. Think of bringing cash and having that ready at hand, or checks in case power goes out and you're not able to use your credit cards. A flashlight, extra batteries. New COVID protocols on the FEMA list have 2 masks per person. Think of baby needs. Diapers, wipes, formula if you need it. Then think of either a sleeping bag or extra blankets. Now think of non-perishable foods. So that can be canned goods, bars, anything that you can already pack to have for a good 2-week supply. Medications. People often forget their prescription medications are just something that they take on a daily basis. And now think of making it fun. Bring either games, card games, or books for kids to help pass the time. The key to hurricane season, have a plan, make a list, and be resilient.
Keeping the power on during a storm. More families are considering generators after the winter storm.
Put in perspective, we would get maybe 20, 30 calls a week. Now we're getting hundreds of calls a week.
What you need to know before you buy and before you power your old one up.
Prepare your home ahead of a potential storm. Garage doors can be a weak point in otherwise sturdy homes. It can allow wind to enter and cause structural damage. So reinforce your garage doors and cover all of your windows. Storm shutters work best, but plywood is a good alternative. But do not use tape. Experts say it does not help prevent your windows from breaking. And secure any outdoor furniture or bring it inside.